All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm Aabir Lahiry. This is Cracking Conversation and ABP Live Podcast. हर सप्ताह कुछ लोगों से बात करते हैं और कई बार सप्ताह में ज़्यादा लोगों से भी बात करते हैं. The intention and the objective behind these conversation is to dig deep into their brain and into their journey, to know more about their life और उनकी लाइफ से कुछ अगर wisdom मिल सकता है, कुछ नहीं एक्चुअली बहुत सारा मिलता है, उन wisdom को अपनी लाइफ में इम्पार्ट कर सके. एंड इसी बहाने कुछ कुछ अच्छे conversations भी हो जाते हैं. Today in conversation with me is Dr. Rajat Chauhan. He is the founder of La Ultra and a very renowned sports physiotherapist. इन्होंने बहुत सारे लोगों को
डॉक्टर
हाँ स्पोर्ट्स डॉक्टर रखते हैं फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट बिकॉज बहुत छोटा स्कोप ऑफ वर्क हो जाता है. So he's a sports doctor and by the way I am really fascinated about his journey because he has been a mountain runner. So क्या रही है जर्नी उसके बारे में जानते हैं. Welcome to the show, welcome to the podcast, Dr. Chauhan. How are you?
Very good, thank you so much.
It's been years I have been speaking to you and I was really excited for this conversation because I am really fascinated by your journey. Would you mind taking us through the very in brief कैसी रही है जर्नी, कहाँ से स्टार्ट हुआ है दौड़ने का सिलसिला एंड अभी कहाँ पे पहुँची है, शिखर कहाँ पे है?
तो मसूरी से शुरू हुआ.
Okay.
मैं एक स्कूल में था, वाइनबर्ग स्कूल.
Okay.
तो जब मैं 9 साल का था तब सीरियसली थोड़ा रनिंग पिक किया. जब वहाँ पहुँचा मैं तो वहाँ से शुरू हुआ.
एंड दीस वर लाइक 100-200 मीटर्स जैसे दौड़ते हैं वैसा?
एक्चुअली नहीं. तो वाइनबर्ग 1888 में इस्टेब्लिश हुआ स्कूल, तो थोड़ा सा पुराना है. पर वहाँ रनिंग कल्चर बहुत ज़्यादा है. तो बेसिकली 5:30 बजे हर बच्चे को दौड़ना होता है.
These are boarding school, proper boarding schools.
It's a boarding school, मसूरी.
Okay.
तो जब पहला दिन था मेरा, पहली सुबह जब दौड़ रहे थे, अब 5 बजे क्यों बच्चे को उठा के दौड़ा रहे हैं बेसिकली, मतलब मेरे को कॉन्सेप्ट समझ में नहीं आया. और मैं आराम से घूम फिर रहा था और ये रोड रनिंग हो रही है जब आप 9 साल 10 साल के हो.
बाप रे.
और पीछे से एक पटक कुछ लगा मेरे, क्योंकि मैं आराम से घूम रहा था उस टाइम. और वो जो मेरे स्पोर्ट्स टीचर थे उन्होंने, उस टाइम में केनिंग ना अलाउड होती थी, लीगल होता था सब कुछ. तो वो
तब बच्चों को मारा जा सकता था, आजकल नहीं जाता है.
लीगली टोटली. तो मैंने कहा सर सुबह सुबह क्यों बच्चे को तंग कर रहे हो, अभी पहला तो मेरा दिन है. हाँ, कल ही रात को, मैं कल ही शाम को तो आया हूँ. तो कहते कि आप लास्ट क्यों आ रहे हो, यू केपेबल ऑफ मोर. एंड दैट्स बीन अ ग्रेट लर्निंग, क्योंकि उनका कहना था फर्स्ट नहीं चाहिए, इतना सा अगर ज़्यादा कर सकते हो तो यहाँ तक क्यों. तो सेकंड लास्ट आओ. मैंने कहा सर ये बहुत बढ़िया है. तो सेकंड लास्ट टारगेट था और कुछ नहीं. तो वो धीरे धीरे वहाँ से पुश शुरू हुआ दौड़ने का. और फिर था कि वीकेंड्स पे फोर्टनाइटलीज रेसेस होती थी. टॉप 6 को एक ड्रिंक हुआ करती थी उस टाइम पे, फ्रूश 2 रुपये की होती थी. हमारा पॉकेट मनी महीने का होता 25 रुपये.
ओ बाप रे.
तो वो जो 2 रुपये होते थे जीतने के, बड़ी वैल्यू होती थी.
This is which year you are talking about?
84, 85.
Wow.
सो उस टाइम ये शुरू हुआ. तो ये पुल कर रहा था बेसिकली. पुश करा उसने स्केन ने
और आप अपने आप को पुल कर रहे थे
फ्रूट ड्रिंक
ने.
और धीरे धीरे करके कि स्कूल टीम, क्योंकि वहाँ स्कूल में क्या है कि बड़ा रेपुटेबल होता है अगर आप स्कूल टीम में हो और स्कूल के लिए दौड़ रहे हो. और मिडिल डिस्टेंस रनिंग में मतलब काफ़ी, क्योंकि बड़ी रेगुलर होती है, हर दिन होती है. तो अगर आप वो टॉप 6 टॉप 10 में आ रहे हो, पूरा स्कूल सोचता है कि बस ठीक ठाक हो आप. तो सडनली इट वाज लाइक आइडेंटिटी, यू नो, कैन आई डू दैट. एंड आई स्टार्टेड लविंग इट. तो इट वाज लव शेयर्ड बिटवीन टू.
You were in class 3rd, 4th? No sir? 5th.
हाँ, 4th, 5th. तो it was between maths and running, the two things that I liked or loved. तो वहाँ से शुरू हुआ. और फिर जब वापस दिल्ली आया 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th मैंने यहीं से किया. तो बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट रेसेस में पार्ट लेता था, 1st, 2nd, 3rd आ ही जाता था. क्योंकि ये दिल्ली वाले क्या दौड़ेंगे, जबकि मैं पूरा दिल्ली वाला हूँ, पैदा ही हुआ हूँ और वो सब. पर जो पहाड़ों में दौड़ के आए हो, यू सडनली हैव एन एज.
अग्रीड.
एंड यू रनिंग रेगुलर.
वो इंक्लाइंड है, वो ज़्यादा ऑब्वियसली स्टैमिना ज़्यादा बिल्ड होगा, सब कुछ होगा.
तो दिल्ली बड़ा आसान था.
एक सवाल मैं हमेशा कई रनर्स से पूछता हूँ, दे कॉल समथिंग कॉल्ड रनर्स हाई. क्या ये सही में होता है? क्या डू यू एक्चुअली गेट हाई फ्रॉम रनिंग?
You totally do, but the distances matter, intensity matters, and it's different for different people.
Okay.
So when you're running a marathon, for example, 5-10 किलोमीटर में नहीं होएगा.
Okay.
जब जैसे आप 25-30 किलोमीटर कर रहे हैं, और हर किसी का अलग अलग बेसिकली.
ठीक है.
और जब वो होता है, मैं आपको एक इंस्टेंस देता हूँ. 2011 का मेरे को याद है. 2011 में 11 नवंबर को, तो 11.
अच्छा.
तो आई लव नंबर्स.
ठीक है.
तो अटेम्प्ट वाज टू डू 111 किलोमीटर्स. ओके, इन दिल्ली.
ओके.
और fascinating, what happened was around 70 kilometers or so. I mean, you should have been tired by then because you've done like 7, 8, 9 hours or so.
True.
And I was running under 5 minutes per kilometer, not feeling a thing. Now that's a runner's high. You don't feel, you're like in the zen zone. And it takes a while to get there. And you know.
And you completed 111 kilometers?
हाँ, वो सब तो होता रहता है छोटा मोटा. But the distance doesn't matter. The beautiful part is the distance doesn't matter. It's different for different people. People who start running, for them 2, 3, 4 kilometers could be that little, you know, listen, my space. And now it's suddenly, I'm connecting with, if there is a higher being, yourself maybe. It does happen. Psychologically, things kick in, the hormones that kick in, all of that matters, chemical changes. And I think the biggest one is you connect to yourself. So runners are truly there. Yes.
I would love to know more about it because since you said chemical changes, dopamine होता है, endorphins होते हैं, बहुत सारी चीजें. As a doctor, how do you see that? What exactly happens inside the brain? अगर कोई इतना ज़्यादा दौड़ता है तो.
So effectively, exactly these. Dopamine plays a very important role, and there's another one called irin, irsin. So it does the same thing again.
Okay.
What it does is it's like a feel-good factor, you know.
Okay.
So it's like, you can say actually smoking and running is very, very similar addiction-wise. Okay. One is a good one, one's a bad one. उसके डब्बे पे लिखा होता है ना, it kills you. So I think living kills you. It's your choice which one you're going to die by.
True.
So what changes happen is it's starting to calm down. Okay. So you're starting to connect really. Your heart rate, for example, isn't going off the roof anymore. That calm zone is coming. So imagine that's going on within the body. Okay. Right? Your muscles learn optimally what is the movement to be happening. Most people, when they don't get into the runner's high, that's because they're trying too hard, and the effort is being too much, and the breathing is out of sync with running. So when running is in sync, or the breathing is in sync with running, and you're not making too much effort, but you're able to do more. So there's a term I keep using. If you want to run as fast as you can, slow down. And there's another thing I say, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So learn how to be smooth.
Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Wow.
So learn to be smooth, right? Don't worry about fast and slow. वो हो जाएगा by default, right? Now that's the beauty of it. So start learning to just move more optimally without straining. And sorry, throwing one more thing at you.
Yeah, so, please. This is a very candid, very open conversation. Feel free to say anything about it. If you want to criticize me, feel free to do that. क्यों इतना मोटा हो गया है, दौड़ता क्यों नहीं है? Please बोल देना.
नहीं है, जब हो नहीं तो क्यों बोलूँ? पर दूसरी बात है, मैं बोलता हूँ कि अगर रनिंग आपका प्यार है, if it's a love, then strength training is your mother-in-law. ठीक है. अब इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बड़ा सूट करता है जो हमारा कल्चर है और वो सब
कि उनको हमेशा खुश रखना है, पसंद हो ना हो. ज़्यादातर जनरली आपको पता ही है कि कितनी लाड़ प्यार होता है सास के साथ. But truly that, because you have to be in the good books. So on a very, very serious note, and don't get me please as a sexist or whatever in this. No.
But what happens is, if you're in the good books of strength training, what happens is your muscles are working the right way. And then that movement happens well. So that runner's high, I mean, I'm connecting it all to runner's high. What happens is, your muscles are an asset.
True.
The fat weight, on the other hand, is a liability.
Yeah.
The muscles move you.
Yep. But doesn't it happen naturally? If you run on a regular basis, doesn't muscle actually in general build?
So see, here's the thing. Practice, we've been saying, makes you perfect. It does not. Practice makes it permanent, good or bad. Right? So we need to figure, is it the right thing? Now, people imagine a regular Joe in Delhi or whatever, Joe Gel, whatever. Up till 9th or 8th, they're very, very active normally in school, most of them, quite a few of them. But then suddenly academics and board exams and all that things thrown at you, right?
Yep.
And suddenly it's about 99s and all that percentages and all that. Now such creatures, what happened to them, organisms, they become slobs very quick, right? अभी तक ऐसे बड़े हो रहे थे, अब ऐसे बड़े हो जाते हैं, right? Movement भूल जाते हैं वो. जब आप 25 साल के बंदी को पकड़ोगे और कहोगे दौड़ते हैं या 30-35 जो भी, और कहोगे चलो दौड़ते हैं या चलते हैं, you'll be surprised what high percentage don't know which hand goes with which leg, right? So they don't know how to move anymore. They've been stuck with a Fevikwik or whatever to the chair, right? So movement is an issue. So the idea is, can we make movement natural to them? You can't teach it. You were already born with it, right? As a sperm, that race was on or run was on or whatever. We are running from within, before we were born.
Yeah, we were born.
Yes. So you can't teach it. But you can remind them, hey, listen, by the way, as a 2-year-old, this is how you moved. So as a 2-year-old, you're beautiful. Now, that's how it should be. So doing for long is not the point, because someone who picks it up late, even after a while, they're getting better, but it's never going to be that whole non-stop, had someone been active throughout. So it's very important, just as much as you can, as soon as you can, even if you've taken a break, get on with it sooner.
वाह, दैट मेक सेंस कि रोज थोड़ा थोड़ा करने से भी स्टार्ट हो सकता है।
मैं आपको कहानी सुनाता हूँ, लाल ट्रक की बात
हाँ
है।
प्लीज, ये तो कहानियों का सिलसिला है प्लीज।
तो 2013 में हमने 13-14 में 333 बेसिकली रेस है लद्दाख में हम करा करते थे। शुरू किया था 222 किलोमीटर से, 222 किलोमीटर।
हर इंसान दौड़ेगा एक दिन में, एक स्ट्रेच में?
एक स्ट्रेच में 222 48 घंटे में करने का था। अब लोग पहले साल तो था कि
एक बहुत वियर्ड सवाल है, रात को कैसे दौड़ते हैं?
क्यों
तो
गाड़ी
आप खाना
चलाते
कब खाते हो, पानी कब पीते हो?
दौड़ते दौड़ते चलते चलते बैठ। तो रूल क्या है देखो।
हाँ मुझे ये जानना है।
हाँ आई लव डेमोक्रेसी एज लॉन्ग एज आई एम द डिक्टेटर। ठीक है, तो
वेरी गुड।
इस रेस का मैं डायरेक्टर हूँ।
ठीक है,
तो आप डिक्टेटर मानो, डायरेक्टर
जो
मानो, प्राइम मिनिस्टर मानो, कुछ मानो,
बस दौड़ना है, कुल मिला के पॉइंट ये है।
स्टार्ट करना है अभी। अगर 6 बजे आपको करना है, 2 दिन के बाद 6 बजे उसका कट ऑफ है।
48 hours।
आप टॉयलेट में बैठो, आप कुर्सी पे बैठो, आप दौड़ो, आप खाओ, आप पियो, निकालो जो
करना है करो।
राइट, द टाइम स्टार्ट्स नाउ, 48 hours it stops, right? And on the way there'll be various cutoffs. So for certain distances you have to get there in a certain time. Okay? And if you don't, you're out. I mean, as I said, I mean, democracy है, जब तक मैं रूल बता रहा हूँ आपको क्या करनी है। ठीक है, तो ये हमारा था। पहले साल जब हम कर रहे थे, आर्मी जो ऑफिसर्स थे उन्होंने कहा पागल हो गया, कर नहीं सकते हो, सिविलियन हो, ये सब कहानियाँ। जो डॉक्टर फ्रेंड्स थे स्पोर्ट्स मेडिसिन वाले, कह रहे अभी तक नहीं मारा किसी को, अब तो मारेगा पक्का। ठीक, जो वहाँ के लोकल्स थे कहते पागल हो गए हो। ठीक, तो जो भी थे, और बिजनेसमैन फ्रेंड्स वगैरह जो थे, जो थोड़े बड़े बिजनेस स्कूल से पढ़े हैं कि बैंकक्रप्ट हो जाओगे, ये हो जाएगा, हो जाएगा। 3 लोगों ने पार्टिसिपेट किया। अब 60, 70, 80 ग्लोबली जो लोग थे अल्ट्रा रनिंग में, जो अल्ट्रा होता है 42.195 किलोमीटर रेगुलर फुल मैराथन से लंबा डिस्टेंस। बट जनरली जो हम एक्सेप्टेबल मानते हैं कि बेसिकली 50 माइलर और मे बी 100 किलोमीटर, उस डिस्टेंसेज में 50 माइलर बीइंग 80 किलोमीटर। हाँ, तो दोज आर डिसेंट ultra marathon distances. So people had written to me when I told them, hey, listen, this stupid idea I'm coming up with. And as they started reading about high altitude sickness, they started signing off, saying, क्योंकि high altitude sickness और word जो दूसरे तीसरे sentence में आ जाता है, एक word है death, right? So you suddenly get scared. Yeah. So they started saying, not for us. There were 3 people at the start line. I ended up getting to the Ladakh Leh hospital 3 times before the race started. 3 or 4 times during the race, and luckily everyone, okay. One got to the race, the finish line. The rest of them also got back home safely. Now people started finishing. Once you understand how to do it, एक बार formula समझ में आ जाए, people start then saying कि अब हो रहा है and all that. And I was like, यार ये जो खत्म कर रहे हैं अच्छी बात नहीं है। हमने वर्ल्ड का toughest race बोल रहे थे, उसका क्या हुआ? तो we increased the distance to 333 in 3 years, 4 years time. खत्म क्यों कर रहे हो टाइप्स, राइट? नाउ आई हैड कम बैक फ्रॉम दैट, आई हैड कम बैक फ्रॉम ऑर्गेनाइजिंग 333, एंड a particular publication house got in touch with me saying, put a run together, or coach women to run from couch to 6 kilometers, and let's train them for the Delhi half marathon or whatever. मैं तो सोचा मैं बॉन्ड हूँ बिल्कुल, 4-1 साल लाल ट्रक कर लिया है। लोगों को तो मैं 222 और 333 दौड़ाता हूँ,
तो 6 किलोमीटर तो कुछ भी नहीं होगा।
तो कुछ भी नहीं है। बात वही है जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात है, वो 222 और 333 कुछ नहीं होता है,
क्योंकि वो रोज दौड़ने वाले हैं 100 किलोमीटर।
वो सरफिरे हैं पहले से। आप उनको एक डायलॉग मारोगे थोड़ा सा और खुशी खुशी करेंगे, उनको आप चैलेंज दे दो, वो खुशी से करेंगे। फिनिश हो ना हो वो और बात है। ये जो जीरो वाले हैं वो हर दिन शुरू करते हैं, हर दिन ही खत्म करते हैं। जितनी बार शुरू करते हैं उससे ज़्यादा बार खत्म करते हैं, मतलब बंद करते हैं, राइट? सो दे आर बेसिकली पीपल हु काइंड ऑफ गिवन अप ऑन देमसेल्व्स, राइट? सो दैट वाज द लॉट आई गॉट, and they were age 13 to 60 years old, and women, right?
13 to 60?
Yeah,
काफी।
across, exactly, पूरा all over the place, right? All kinds of backgrounds, women. Women में ये होता है, एक तो being a man, sometimes you don't appreciate it enough, the challenges they have,
True.
the chitter chatter that comes along with it,
yeah.
All that, everything.
Yeah, everything,
right?
everything.
So it was very interesting and a lot more challenging for me to understand and appreciate that 0 to 1, forget 6, is how challenging it is for majority of the population, forget about men or women, far more challenging.
And time कितना था?
3 महीने थे।
नहीं मतलब 6 किलोमीटर आपको कितने में? कुछ नहीं, बस दौड़ा दो।
दिल्ली हाफ में क्या है, 6 किलोमीटर तो होता है, घूमते फिरते आप उल्टे चल के भी करो, लेट के करो।
सर
इतना टाइम देते हैं
फॉर यू इट मे बी उल्टे चलते हुए करूं, फॉर 6 किलोमीटर फॉर मी मतलब ठीक है मैं कंप्लीट कर लूंगा 6 किलोमीटर।
नहीं, बट सीरियसली, आई मीन ऑन अ वेरी सीरियस नोट, दे गिव यू सच अ लॉन्ग टाइम टू डू इट. Everyone who's at the start will finish. I mean, you should have obviously done some sort of like time on feet.
Agreed.
But it's nothing like my race where I would disqualify people even though they're trying to sprint and yet I disqualify saying अभी तक नहीं आए. वो सब challenges नहीं है यहाँ 6 के लिए. So I learned first hand, किताबों में तो बहुत पढ़ा था, first hand that 0 to anything or 0 to 1 is far, far bigger and far more challenging. So I have a lot of respect for people who are saying, hey, listen, we want to start. And I kind of have experienced over this time saying, what do you do then for it? What are the challenges? More than the physical, it's up here.
Yep.
You know, putting on that shoe is a bigger exercise than actually wearing the shoe and then going out. That's the easy part.
Wow.
You know, so putting on that shoe is a difficult part. Getting watches, अब सबके पास है स्मार्ट वॉच, बात उसमें नहीं है, बात ये यार सांस लो ढंग से और चलो थोड़ा सा. तो that's where the challenge.
बट क्या ये शूशाबाजी में वॉच लगाना ये सब अच्छा होता है? मतलब ऑब्वियसली हाँ आपके हाथ में तो कुछ भी नहीं है अभी फिलहाल, बट इन जनरल डू यू मतलब आप ऑब्वियसली यू मस्ट बी वेयरिंग इट व्हेन यू आर स्प्रिंटिंग, नो?
Why? So if you're connecting with yourself, and I'm not trying to be a Babaji or Guruji here, but over a period of time, you kind of evolve as a runner, as a human being. And I think running is very interesting because it connects with life. And if you kind of figure that, it's a bit like how much is in your bank account? You know, is that what makes you happy? And same with running. I mean, how fast are you? Does that make you happy? I mean, you can be fast and yet not be happy with it.
True,
right?
true.
And just examples, I'm not sure if you'll kind of, you know, understand those numbers, but imagine, let's say 10K. Someone for a 10 kilometers could be very happy with the 60 minutes. And someone else, it's 1 hour. And someone could be 40 minutes and, you know, still cribbing about it, कि यार ये तो क्या हो गया यार, मतलब इतनी ट्रेनिंग की है वो सब. These distances and times really don't matter.
They're relative. Journey alag hai.
It's a journey. Second is if you're able to kind of, you know, get in touch with yourself. When you run, you kind of already figure what distance, what time, and all that you're doing, what speed you're doing. And if you get in very comfort zone with that, very comfortable with all of that, these things really don't matter. They're overrated. वही पैसे वाली बात, अगर once you're kind of comfortable with that, it doesn't.
तो पहन लो बढ़िया लाख रुपए की घड़ी, क्या ही फर्क पड़ता है?
वो सारे तो परेशान है जो उन्होंने पहन रखी है,
क्योंकि उसका यूज नहीं है, वो 2 दिन बाद घर पे रखी हुई है.
नहीं, जो रेगुलर भी पहनते हैं ना, उनको ये नहीं पता उनके मीनिंग्स क्या हैं. अगर आप उनसे पूछो कि हार्ट रेट क्या होता है, मैक्सिमम हार्ट रेट क्या होता है, वो सब उन्हें मालूम भी तो नहीं.
मैं इस पे भी आना चाहता था कि आई रिमेंबर व्हेन आई स्टार्ट रनिंग, हर साल होता है कि ऐसे ठंड में मैं 2-3 महीना रेगुलर दौड़ना स्टार्ट करता हूँ. व्हेन आई स्टार्ट हार्ट रेट बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. आई एम श्योर जितना आप दौड़ते होगे आपका हार्ट रेट अब उतना पंप नहीं होता होगा. व्हाट शुड बी द आइडियल हार्ट रेट जिसको इंसान को चेस करना चाहिए दौड़ते वक्त?
Okay, there isn't a fixed number. क्योंकि जब हम लोग स्कूल में पढ़ते थे 72 एक बड़ा मैजिकल नंबर होता था. What we learned in
सबने स्कूल में पढ़ा है 72 is the perfect heart rate.
बकवास एकदम. तो 60 to 90 is the good range that you're talking about.
Okay.
Also, what's happened is, I mean, you know, people are kind of coming up or figuring out right now, but the point is, I have a kickstart, I have a head start because I started running way back then, 38 years or so now.
True.
My heart rate back then, when I would run like say 20 kilometers or so, was around 41, 42, 43. And if I were to go to the doctor then, the doctor would look at it and he'll probably have a heart attack instead of me. क्योंकि उसको तो रनिंग का कुछ पता नहीं था.
But how's that? Is it actually possible if a person is running and he can have a heart rate of 40 to 45 BPM?
Sorry. I was saying heart beats per minute.
अच्छा, okay.
Yeah, so I was talking about the heart rate.
Okay.
हाँ, तो basically मेरा 42, 45, this kind of a heart rate used to be there, beats per minute. Okay, when I was running as a 17, 18, 16 वो सब एजेस में, ठीक है. अब उस टाइम मेडिकल जो कोलीग्स थे मोस्ट, इंक्लूडिंग कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट्स, उनको नहीं मालूम था कि दिस इज टोटली नॉर्मल फॉर अ एथलीट हु रन्स दैट मच. Today, on the other hand, there are a lot of runners out there. There are a lot of runners out there who've done such distances and for a while, 5, 10 years, 15 years and all. There are quite a few of them who'll have their heart rates between 40s and 50s. Okay. I'm again saying heart rate. Okay. Age is a separate issue too.
Age is a very.
I mean, we can talk about it, but
age is a very.
I mean, we can talk about it, but it's a separate one totally. So effectively, it's becoming a more efficient pump. हार्ट इज अ पंप. वो जो हार्ट ब्रेक होता है ना, वो यहाँ नहीं होता है, वो किसी और ही जगह पे है. ये तो पंप है. ठीक है. तो इसका क्या है कि कितनी एफिशिएंसी से कर रहा है. अब आपकी घड़ी सिर्फ आपका हार्ट रेट बता रही है. हार्ट रेट में 3-4 चीज़ें बताती है बहुत बढ़िया. एक बात आती है कि मैक्सिमम हार्ट रेट क्या है आपका, बेसिकली जब मैक्सिमम एफर्ट मारा है कितना आपका हार्ट रेट है, जब आप सो रहे हो रेस्टिंग हार्ट रेट क्या है, ठीक है, वो रेस्टिंग हार्ट रेट एक्चुअली सरप्राइजिंगली फार मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन मैक्सिमम हार्ट रेट, ठीक है, बिकॉज इट बिकम्स लाइक अ बेस लाइन फॉर यू एंड देन यू काइंड ऑफ बिल्ड अप ऑन इट. मोस्ट पीपल डोंट नो दैट. Okay, so most think about the max. The variations that come, those are important. Now, just throwing it out there. Now, what becomes more important then is that gadget does not tell you about your breathing. जब आप पैदा होते हो सब लोग खुश होते हैं जब आप रोते हो, जब आप मरते हो सब लोग रोते हैं जब आप मतलब ब्रीदिंग करना बंद कर देते हो. पहला सांस आखिरी सांस, राइट, इफेक्टिवली वो. तो पॉइंट क्या है, जो सांस है वो एक्चुअली हार्ट रेट को शुरू करता है. Right. Okay. So there's a connect there. It's breath that matters a lot more. And when you start controlling your breathing, your heart, you know, the pumping that's happening, आप उसका physiology समझो. Effectively क्या हो रहा है? Breath goes in, takes oxygen. Think of it as like a bus stop. ठीक है? तो बस गई बस स्टॉप पे. अब अगर वो बस बड़ी तेज चली गई है, ऑक्सीजन को टाइम ही नहीं मिला उतरने का, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड को टाइम नहीं मिला चढ़ने का. ठीक है? So you take in a very fast breath. When you run like that with a very fast breath, you take shallow breath, obviously, because oxygen, carbon dioxide not exchanging, and you're breathless in like a minute or two. तो पहली कंप्लेंट होती है बिगनर की, भाई सांस फूल गया. ठीक है, पहले बैठो, महीना भर बैठ के सांस लो जरा, प्रैक्टिस करो ब्रीदिंग, राइट, वर्क ऑन योर स्ट्रेंथ, यू नो, योर calves and quads and whatever else, everything else. So effectively you're working on वो सांस वाली बात, strength training. We are learning how to breathe, which the watch is not telling you about. Now when you go out and run, when you take that long breath in and that oxygen has time to get off and carbon dioxide time to get on, what's happening is the pressure on the heart is a lot lesser. Now the oxygen goes in, it doesn't have to do that anymore क्योंकि fast breath हो रहा था, fast वो pumping हो रही थी कि in the effort कि और पहुँचाओ blood throughout the body. When you're doing it slowly, it's going slowly in there, the heart is more peaceful, talking about that runner's high as well. Now, this person will get more likelihood of getting a runner's high versus someone who just can't run very, you know, like at peace. Okay. Right? So breathing becomes a lot more important. Now for that you don't need a watch suddenly. जो मैं हार्ट रेट आपको बता रहा हूँ, जो मैंने 40 का बताया, मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा वो दौड़ते वक्त, वो मेरा रेस्टिंग हार्ट रेट हुआ. सॉरी, आई मीन आई डिडंट से दैट. हाँ ठीक है. तो वो रेस्टिंग हार्ट रेट है, पर जब मैं दौड़ रहा हूँ, मान लीजिए मेरा रेस्टिंग अगर 40-45 है, जब मैं दौड़ना शुरू कर रहा हूँ मेरा पहुँचने लगेगा 120 130 इतना होने लगेगा. आज भी होता है. Okay. तो मेरा रेस्टिंग अभी होगा करीब लेट 40s अर्ली 50s. आज के टाइम पे भी ज़्यादा ट्रेनिंग नहीं कर रहा उसके बावजूद भी, पर 130 125 इतना मेरा लॉन्ग स्लो रन जो हैं इतना बढ़ेगा मेरा. ठीक है. एक फार्मूला यूज़ करते हैं दोबारा हार्ट रेट में, वो इट्स टोटल रविश, 220 माइनस एज, उसको बोलते हैं मैक्सिमम हार्ट रेट. उतना होना चाहिए, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए. उससे ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए, और वो गलत फार्मूला है. वो क्योंकि हम जेनरिक, और ये वॉचेस में यूज़ होता है बाय द वे, आपके सैमसंग्स और एप्पल्स और जो बड़ी बड़ी महंगी महंगी खड़ी हैं, यही फार्मूला यूज़ करते हैं. दैट्स नॉट कस्टमाइज्ड, दैट्स अ रॉन्ग वे टू असेस इट. सो मोस्ट पीपल हु वेयर दोज वॉचेस गो लाइक, ऐसा सोचते हैं जैसे गॉस्पेल वर्ड है या बाइबल या गीता या जो भी लिखा हुआ है. कुछ नहीं, आपके लिए क्या नंबर होना चाहिए वो समझना ज़रूरी है. और सॉरी, आई एम गेटिंग अ लिटिल टेक्निकल, बट नो प्लीज इमेजिन लाइक after a month, if you were to start running, I would say for first 15-20 days, a month, don't run. Okay? Time on feet. Go out there, spend time on feet. Just walk. Check out the girls out there and, you know, guys, I mean, whatever preference you have. So do that bit for half an hour to 45 minutes to an hour. Slowly build it up. Don't worry about the speed of the walk either. Just get used to that non-stop walk can I do. Right? Build up with that. Think about the breathing. Can I take in long breaths? Can I breathe out? I know I'm talking too fast, but no, I guess long breath in, long breath out. What happens is you're getting in sync with the rest of the body. You know, there's a bit of a connect between the mind and the body kind of a thing that's actually going on. Okay. Once you've done that, and once you spend some time doing some sort of planks and some sort of squats and push-ups, skipping is a very, very important one. You learn how to land softly. Biggest mistake people make after breathing is they land very heavy. So if you're skipping, you can never land very heavy when you skip. You know, go back to class, whatever, 3-4 if you've skipped. Be very soft on your feet and don't jump very high. On your toes, right? You have to jump on your toes. On your toes. More than the toes, what I kind of emphasize on is being soft. Okay. Right? Yes, you're right. It can't be on the heel anyways, because then you can't do the next step. Yeah. Right? You'll fall. Precisely. So it has to be mid foot, front foot, that kind of a thing. But I kind of on purpose don't use that, because while running, the main thing to focus is soft, not the anything else. Yeah. So once you're kind of figuring that part out, you're reminding, there's something called muscle memory. Now this will stick with you when you go out running. Now once you've done that, which most people do and don't do, and that's good because I kind of help people to run, so अच्छा ही नहीं करते. और जो करते हैं वो चोट लगती है उनको, फिर मेरा क्लिनिक है वो भी चलाना है मेरे को. तो
है भी तो कमाने हैं.
all good. So I don't complain too much now. But that's the best way to pick it up. So yeah, I mean, anyone can. The beauty is anyone can. Whether there's a knee pain, whether there's a back pain, once you kind of understand this concept that I'm talking about, the basics, it's game on.
So, since you mentioned about the hindrances, and you mentioned that but since we are talking about the hindrances, and you mentioned that the biggest hindrance is the brain, but what are the regular hindrances you see in general that patients are complaining about? कि यार मुझे दौड़ना start करना है, but मैं इसलिए start नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ.
Family, society. So basically, two guys talking here. So there's something very interesting. So when a man runs, imagine you have children, there's a wife, and whatever, maybe parents in the same house. When you go run, you run on your own, and you disturb everyone else. So you basically, the night before, everyone has to do things according to you. When you go running, it basically means you're no help to anyone else, and you come back. Now that's a man running. When a woman runs out of the house, so that wife who's a mother and who's a daughter-in-law, now when she goes running, she probably takes her husband along and probably children too, if not parents-in-laws. So effectively, they are making a bigger difference. Now, what I'm really saying is that women who's not allowed to do that, that becomes a big hindrance for her. Either the husband or the children or the parents-in-laws or whatever else, that's an issue. Then it's about the clothing, like what kind of stuff do you wear? What time of the day do you go out running? Are you living in a closed society kind of a thing, gated community?
Where you can run anytime.
You can run and it's okay. But if you don't, Delhi NCR is amazingly good, and you know that, for women. So it's surprising when I've actually run with lady friends, running friends, in say Lutyens, Delhi. Supposedly, everyone posh lives there and all that.
Lutyens.
Yeah, Lutyens, yes. You'll be surprised when a girl is running head to toe covered, arms covered, no t-shirt, no shorts. And yet the looks they get from so-called posh people is like, oh my God, what's wrong with people? So visually, and a guy like me is saying like, how do you feel okay with this? This was like, oh my God, this is not okay the way they're looking at you. That's what they are up against. And we guys don't appreciate that enough. And it's sad. I've noticed that when I've been running with my wife, the way that happens and people say things and all that. Now that society is the biggest issue for women. For men, it's about, again, the society in a different way, because अगर आप दौड़ते हो, पार्टी नहीं जाते, फिर दोस्त फ्रेंड सर्कल का क्या होगा? सुबह अगर आप वो कर रहे हो तो उसमें इशू है कि आप ऑफिस में क्या फील कर रहे हो, कितना नहीं. अगर आपका न्यूट्रिशन ठीक नहीं है, you will feel tired throughout the day. So you're not being effective, efficient enough at work. Having said that, if you sleep well enough, if you eat well, actually that run makes you more fitter for the day.
But can you party even if you're running on a regular basis?
Most people actually do. So it's a great combination that people do. I mean, I'm not a big party guy, but most people, what they do is they would shift. Weekends is considered like a long day for you for the run. So it depends what you want to do. So some people end up switching to a Saturday long run. They party the Saturday night, and the Sunday is like off for a short run. So they kind of figure the ways around. Also, their friend circle starts happening of similar types.
Which happens in any passion you chase.
Everywhere. And psychology.
If you're playing poker, you will always be surrounded by poker players. If you're playing football, you will always be surrounded by football players.
Totally. And the psychology is a very important one. So on one hand, you'll ask about what are the hindrances, but other one is what is the pulling you towards it. So basically, when a midlife crisis, and today midlife starts from like a 30, I think, right? So you suddenly have an identity issue. You've probably done very well in life, career, in a corporate job or whatever, but suddenly you need a challenge and that identity that you need. Otherwise, you're sitting in a cubicle, maybe your numbers are saying whatever, but your own identity is at risk.
Yes.
And suddenly this new challenge comes along. Why don't you run? And it gives you that. See, at the end of the day, any trophies, any certificates really don't matter. Other people's appreciation doesn't matter. It's about you yourself. So that's one very big one. On the other hand, I mean, I'll just contradict myself, which I love doing. A lot of people, no matter if that person's a CEO, is like a politician or whatever, a housewife, they love t-shirts, They love medals, they love certificates, they love being appreciated by others.
And they flaunt it like anything. They'll always have these wonderful, beautiful looking medals attached to their cubicles, on their wall.
Totally. Drawing rooms, dining rooms, whatever rooms.
सब जगह medals
हर
दिखेंगे
wall
आपको.
shawl, जो भी.
And these are beautiful looking medals.
Yes.
I must say this.
Yeah. And it's fascinating. It cuts across society. How rich or poor, education or not, male or female, age, whatever. And yet we want that sheet of paper or sheet of, that piece of metal or whatever.
Yeah.
And point really is we need to kind of figure what are the hindrances, what are the ones that are pulling. Oh, fluorescent t-shirt, part of a certain group, which is very,
elite.
Yeah.
It gives you an identity.
Yes. So it's a lot of things that are at play. Health is not the big one. So, I mean, as much as I would keep saying health, chalta chalata nahi hai health. It's all rubbish. So, I think it
वो push
needs
factor नहीं देता है.
So we need to kind of really figure the pull-push thing. We need to work with that.
Now, coming back to the question that have you met any person in your life who is a regular smoker or a drinker but still runs?
Yes, I have. I know people who are chain smokers and yet run, and they can't
Really?
they can't give up the chain smoking. There are people who are not so much in India too. Actually, I won't say that. But back in UK, I mean 2003-4, while I was doing my masters and all that, the running groups. I was there till 2006. Running and beer drinking go hand in hand.
Oh,
Right, so there, the West. Whereas here, not so much.
Yeah.
It's, I would say, I don't know what percentage, let's say 20% would be partying, not excessive, but they do, drinking is a part of it and all that. 10-20% होंगे जो
हाँ, because I have met few people जो Sunday morning जाएंगे रन करके उसके बाद ब्रंच पे जाएंगे बढ़िया मस्त जिन एंड टॉनिक पियेंगे और वापस आ जाएंगे.
आराम से 20% हैं ऐसे.
बट कैसे बॉडी कैसे वर्क करती है? ऑन द वन हैंड यू एज अ डॉक्टर से कि स्मोकिंग नहीं करना चाहिए क्योंकि स्टैमिना खराब होगा रनिंग का, लेकिन ऑन द अदर हैंड कोई रोज स्मोक कर रहा है और बढ़िया मस्त दौड़ रहा है.
पर वो उतना कर पा रहा है जितना उसका ऑप्टिमल लेवल है अनलाइकली, क्योंकि हो क्या रहा है, आपका लंग कैपेसिटी कम हो रहा है, आपका आर्टरीज में फ़र्क पड़ रहा है, क्योंकि वो आप दो चीज़ें मैंने बोली, हमें ऑक्सीजन चाहिए, हवा चाहिए, और हमारे को खून चाहिए पूरे बॉडी में. And this is the basic fundamental stuff for running. I mean, before the landing, right? Automatically जब आप वाइन या जो भी कर रहे हो लिमिट्स से ज़्यादा अगर है, there's an issue. If you're being drunk all the time, that's an issue. Effectively, you're not performing as well.
You're not drunk and running, right? Do people do that?
They won't be drunk and running, but when they party and get drunk, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, there are silly things in running. Yeah, there's a particular event that they do. You have to keep drinking and keep running and all that. एक था France में है. I signed up. I never ended up going to it. Every aid station. So aid station is every 2 kilometers or so during races. Basically aid station means water, खाना पीना अगर कुछ होता है. वहाँ हर aid station पे wine tasting होती है.
So cool.
और कहते हैं अगर आप इतने टाइम से जल्दी आओगे आप डिस्क्वालीफाई हो जाओगे क्योंकि वी डोंट वांट फास्ट रनर्स. एंजॉय द वाइन व्हाइल यू आर रनिंग. तो देयर आर दीज फैंसी थिंग्स दैट आर आउट देयर.
But that is more for recreation, right?
Totally, yeah. But all of it is recreation. See, none of these guys that we're talking about, they aren't representing India. They're not going to Olympics, right? Because there it becomes a lot more strict.
Yeah.
So even that 10-20% is like not okay.
Certainly.
This is not helping performance. So when you're getting into all that. Yeah. But having said that, there's a movie called Chariots of Fire. I'm not sure if you've seen it. It's
Chariots on Fire. I've heard about it. Certainly, it's a popular movie.
There's a very good chance you've actually seen it. But anyways, it's about 1918 or 1916 ka Paris mein Olympics.
Okay.
And it's about the British team who are running the 100, 200, 400, all that. And on the ship, they're smoking away cigars and all. Till then, we didn't know this, that it has a limiting factor on your performance. It was a cool thing to do. Right, but obviously we know it starts cutting down your optimal performance, what you were capable of otherwise, when you drink, when you smoke, and all that.
Wow. On that note, my last question to you, Dr. Chauhan, will be: what is your suggestion to a random guy or a girl who wants to start running from tomorrow, who is willing to start a healthy life, but उसको पता नहीं है करना क्या? What is your suggestive roadmap to him or her?
सबसे पहला महीना भर जैसे मैंने कहा ना, प्लीज़ डोंट रन, क्योंकि सबसे ज़्यादा लोग वहाँ रुकते हैं, सोचते हैं हमसे तो नहीं हो पाएगा. 5 मिनट दौड़े, सांस बहुत फूल गया, खत्म कहानी. दे स्टॉप बिकॉज ऑफ दैट. आई कांट डू इट, सो आई डोंट डू इट. सो हाउ डू यू ब्रेक दैट साइकिल इज बाय स्टार्टिंग द राइट वे, विच इज डोंट रन इन द फर्स्ट मंथ. You're starting after 10 years, 15 years, being a slob and whatever, you're drunk and whatever you've done. Spend that month building up time on feet.
And loving yourself.
And loving yourself, right? I mean, and checking out whatever you want, what you love. And what you do is, don't even do non-stop if you can't, even the walking. So if you can only do like a 2 minutes non-stop walk, 2 करो, खड़े हो जाओ, बैठ जाओ, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है यार. सारा जोड़ जाड़ के अगर 30 मिनट बन रहा है, great है, good job, right? What you'll start noticing is after a week, after 2 weeks, that 2 minutes will end up becoming like 6 minutes, 7, 8 minutes, and then you'll want to maybe sit. Break it down into smaller units. That's the magic of it. Think about one step at a time. Don't think about a 10K right away or a 6K right away. And that's where the beauty lies. Like, just break it down like that. Second part is focus on your sleep. To perform better with a run, with any exercise or whatever, even at work, your sleep needs to be good. We're talking about 7-9 hours, good quality sleep. So don't ever cut down on that. Eating. You want to drive a Porsche, but you want to put in kerosene there. There's a bit of an issue. So खाओ ढंग से. And we'll know all आज के टाइम पे तो सबको पता है
क्या खाना ढंग का होता है क्या नहीं होता है.
तो प्लीज़ उसको थोड़ा सा फॉलो करो. 2-3 मेरी मोटी चीज़ें होती हैं कि प्लीज़ शुगर को कट डाउन करो मेजरली. We don't need as much as I mean, if at all we need is also a question. But seriously, cut down by half at least, if not more. Cut down on fried stuff, deep fried stuff and all that. Cut it down majorly. I'm not saying zero, cut it down. Cut down on carbs. तो जो हमारे पराठे होते हैं और वो सब देखो मेरे ancestors वगैरह farmers and all that पेट भरते थे आटे से. ऑप्शन नहीं था. आज अच्छा ऑप्शन है.
और प्लस तब वर्कआउट भी इन जनरल ज़्यादा होता था, लेबर ज़्यादा होता था.
नहीं पर खाते ही नॉट न्यूट्रिशियस स्टफ थे. मतलब वो भरने वाली बात होती है ना, पेट भरने वाली बात. इवन द फार्मर्स, 2-3 सब्जी हुई या वो आटा हुआ, मतलब मोटी रोटी होती थी, प्याज की सब्जी से खाते थे, चटनी से, राइट. दैट्स व्हाट इट वाज. औरों के लिए उगाते थे, अपने आप ये खाते थे. सो एनीवेज वो हो गया. एंड द थर्ड वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट इज विच आई ऑलरेडी कवर्ड ओवर दिस होल थिंग इज द मेंटल पार्ट. I know you're wanting to run, there's a very good chance to connect with yourself and be at peace and your time, me time, वो सब होता है. But start calming down, start thinking about like breathing when you're doing, that's sitting down and just breathing. Take a long breath in, over 6 seconds or so, breathe out over 6 seconds or so. Of course, you're preparing for the run in a month's time, you'll do far better. But also what you're doing is you're peacefully starting to do that. Okay, you're starting to focus on yourself without thinking about too much. ये mindful, mindless वगैरह कुछ नहीं होता है. अपना लंबा सांस अंदर लो, धीरे धीरे करके बाहर करो, रिवर्स काउंटिंग करते रहो, 100 से लेके 0 तक करो, मल्टीपल्स ऑफ 3 करो,
divisible,
whatever. So point really is distract yourself, even from breathing itself. And that once you figured all this out, your running is more peaceful then. It's not about the other guy and the other girl and whatever else. That's not happening anymore. That's a starting point for you. Again, don't panic or worry about what the other person's done. Start with कि मेरा महीने में इतना हुआ, दूसरे का कितना भी हुआ यार, कम हुआ ज़्यादा हुआ होता रहे. Soft landing, skipping का बोल रहा था. So you just learn how to skip with or without a rope. Initially, if you want to even do without the rope, क्योंकि वो ना कुछ लोग क्या होते हैं हर 2 बार में रुक जाते हैं.
क्योंकि गिर जाते हैं.
हाँ, तो कहते हैं फिर मतलब रिदम ही नहीं बन पाता है. तो even if you start hopping on the ground with a little gentle, like movement like that, start for a minute like that, and you'll be surprised how tireful is that. Just being very soft on your feet. Start with these basics. Anyone can.
The moment you said कि you can jump without rope as well, मैं ना अपने दिमाग में अचानक से imagine कर रहा था कि कैसे skip आप momentum बना सकते हो दिमाग में. और
precisely basic point ये है कि आप just learn how to be soft on your feet. बस कोई भी पहला शुरू करेगा ना दौड़ना, वो बड़ा तेज heavy landing करता है. वो सोचता है कि length of stride, वो मैथ्स के फॉर्मूले यूज़ होते हैं ना सारे, कि जितना लेंथ होगी उतना अच्छा होगा, और वो सब बकवास है. छोटे स्ट्राइड में बहुत अच्छा कर सकते हो. सॉफ्ट लैंडिंग करो. तो डोंट गेट इनटू ऑल दैट मैथ्स एंड वॉच एंड नंबर्स एंड ऑल दैट. शुरू में नहीं.
क्या बात है. ऑन दैट नोट बहुत शुक्रिया एंड थैंक यू फॉर पार्टिंग योर विजडम टू अस, शेयरिंग योर विजडम टू अस एंड शेयरिंग ऑल दीज इयर्स ऑफ इतना सारा दौड़ना इन अ पॉजिटिव वे to us. Thank you, Dr. Chauhan, for talking to ABP Live Podcast.